internet friends, my name is Catherine and I'm the human behind creation Miss Couture. In today's episode of In the Dye Pan, we will be doing a leave no dye with a calm top of superfine merino. In this case, I believe it is actually an 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. And you will see I have some difficulties with this specific fiber blend because it is very water resistant, so it took me a little bit to get everything in there. So without further ado, let's get into the pan. So we will be starting by prepping the fiber. So I always prepare the fiber in the pan that I will be adding my dyes, simply because I want to avoid moving the dry fiber or the wet fiber too much, simply because when the fiber is wet, it is more propice to felting, and we do not want to felt our fiber, simply because, it will be very hard to spin the fiber if there is felt in there. And after I have my acid in the pan, I'm adding 18 cups of tap water, so that way when I'm adding my fiber, all the acid will have dissolved. And I need approximately 16 to 18 cups of tap water. I don't want the water to be too hot because the temperature shock would be a bad thing and would make the fiber felt, which is not what we want. And today I'm doing it slightly different because I'm adding some of the leftover dye in the dye bath already, just because I want to see how it's going to react and interact with the rest of the fiber and how it's going to be working. I'm just very curious to see what's going to, the effect it will create on the fiber. And I'm always placing the fiber the same way in the pan, simply because it makes it easier for me in my brain to remember how I've placed it and to try to be able to recreate some stuff sometimes and recreate effect. It's easier that way for my brain. But you can place your fiber in a different way if you want. You could, instead of doing the length like I'm doing it, you could do it from the smaller portion of the pan. And if you do not have those catering pans at home, you could use I guess it's like a roasting pan, the one that are not reusable. Well, you could probably reuse them a little bit, but you can use it to roast turkey and stuff like that. And they're aluminum based instead of being stainless steel like the ones I have. And also those, you can purchase them at dollar store usually. And it would do something similar. So I had to wait. I lose the weight. I had to wait about an extra 24 hours simply because I was not able to get to get the fiber wet, and you can see that it's still quite water resistant. So I'll have to dunk the fiber into my dye because it's just not working nicely for me. I'm trying to add water and dyes, and it's just not cooperating at all, as you can see. So we'll wait a little bit longer and I'll try to dunk the fiber without moving it too much. And unfortunately, since it's a low leave no dye, I am unsure which Dharma acid dyes I'm using for this. I think the one that I added in the first place is Tornado Gray, because I've been using a lot of Tornado Gray lately to test out color. So you can see that it looks wetter, but it's still not soaked. So it's just not exactly what I want it to be. But it's okay. We'll get there, slowly but surely. It's already much better. And you can see that I'm wearing my respirator right now. So this is very important to wear your respirator at any time that you have loose powder open somewhere. So if you're speckling or anything, please use your respirator. If you do not have a respirator like this one, you're more than welcome to use an N95 mask. It will do the trick. You just need to make sure that it will not let fine particles in. So let's try to add more colors. I believe that this one is either midnight blue. No, it's too purple. So it might be royal purple, actually. Maybe. Yeah, I think it's royal purple. And you can see that there's some sediment at the bottom. And that's because that has been sitting on my workbench for 3 days, I would say. So if you're working with dye stocks like this, just make sure that you're using a container that you can shake very well to make sure that all the particles are not sitting down at the bottom of your bottle or your container, so that way it doesn't separate. Because if the pigment goes at the bottom, you incur the risk that your stock solution will split and there will be breakage when you're trying to dye your yarn or your fiber. If you don't mind the result, that's fine as well. You do whatever works for you. You just need to make sure that if you want to be able to repeat your colorways, that you're not going to split your pigments and that you're not going to break the dye. And I'm adding right now, I believe it's espresso bean, which has it's supposed to be brown, but there's a very lovely purple undertone to that brown, which is something that I really like. So I've been experimenting a lot with this. That one is chocolate brown from Dharma. And you can see there's a lot of sediment at the bottom of that. Because I usually work from fresh stock solution, meaning that I usually do the stock solution right before I start dyeing. Because at the time that I'm recording this, my production is not heavy enough to warrant me to do like 24 to 48 hours prior to dyeing my stock solutions. So I just... Oh, I think that's fun. Maybe it's tobacco leaf. Not sure. It is very pretty. I really like the gradient it creates. Going from those beautiful browns to purples. The espresso bean creates a really nice transition with that. That's cool. I really like that color. Okay, so yes. So stock solution. So yes. So if you're going to be working and creating stock solution prior to dyeing, make sure that you shake well, make sure that there's no sediment at the bottom, so that way there's no split. Of course, the older your stock solution is, the more likely it's going to happen that you're going to have either breakage or that the color will not be exactly true to what you're used to, because the sediment will get older. So that's just how it is. If you all have dry powder, you can keep it for years as long as it's airtight and the color when you do your stock solution will still be good. I have some 2-ounce jars that I purchased when I first started dyeing in 2022, and they are still good because I don't use as much of it. So I still have the original containers that I purchased when I first started dyeing, which is kind of funny. So 2-ounce jars can go a long way because you don't need that much dry powder to create stock solution and dye your yarn. And if you're just doing it as a hobby, you can have those for a very long time. So that's pretty good. It's an investment for sure. And I believe I'm adding some Cabernet, I think. I'm not 100% sure. That is fluorescent fuchsia, that I'm sure of. I think. It's either fluorescent fuchsia or deep magenta, but I'm pretty sure it's fluorescent fuchsia. Because I've been speckling some neon colors lately or recently. At some point I was doing some speckles. Anyways, so we're going to be leaving this on the heat for about 45 minutes because it takes longer for the dye to be absorbed into fibers. And after that, we will let it cool down for about 45 minutes. And I will see you when we are. And you can see that in the bath, we still have quite a bit of color. And I was expecting it simply because of the fluorescent fuchsia and some of the other darker colors that do have a tendency to like not necessarily fully absorb. So I'm not necessarily worried about it. We shall see how much bleeding it is. So I'm trying to remove any excess water in that dye pan. So I can make sure that I don't have too much in the dye water, in the bath water. I'm just going to speed up a little bit here because I will have to do a few rinse off because there is excess dye in there. Fiber doesn't absorb the dye the same way as yarn, especially if it's a blend that is not superwash. Like it always takes up the little differently. And I'm having some issues here with the fiber wanting to not stay where it should be. And the water's so cold because it's winter here and it's just, ugh. I just can't wait for summer. So I think so this is going to be the final bath because I don't have that much water in there left. There's a tint, but nothing too crazy. And here's the final result. Look how pretty this is. I just find it so fascinating how the dyes interact on the fiber and how sometimes it seems like the dye is going underneath the water bath, so it dyes the underneath portion of the fiber, and it's just creating such interesting pattern of colors on the fiber, and I just love it. So if you're interested to purchase this specific color, I think it's still available in the in-stock section for the fiber. And thanks for watching. If you've liked the video, if you could consider liking, sharing, and if you want to follow along the journey, subscribing to the channel, that would be very helpful for me. And in the meantime, I will see you very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.